part of WWE creative at one time, correct?
I can neither confirm or deny. No, yes.
Oh, okay. We always talk about creative on the show, and we really never put the heat on the wrestlers. We put it on creative because there's things that we just don't understand, things that we know we would like to see, and we ram our head up against the wall. We talk about creative writing for an audience of one. And I know that's the way it is. Was that your experience also when you were part of WWE Creative?
Yeah, so there's some weird things. First of all, I thought that going into WWE, I didn't have a writing background. I kind of did a stumble bumble booking thing until Terry Funk helped me along, and then Gary Hart really helped me. Terry put me in contact with Gary, probably because he didn't have the patience for me. But going to WWE, a lot of the people there had a writing background. There are some real lifelong fans that love the business. Very few had any experience in it. And then you had kind of like the sounding boards, which were guys like Ted DiBiase in my time, Dusty Rhodes, Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard. People have been in the business at a different level. Paul Heyman was kind of in and out. So it was a unique dynamic. And so you had people that I remember one time were sitting there and we're thinking about this angle, and these two guys we wanted to do something with. And Dusty just goes, "Man, we need to get some heat." And a writer goes, "What's heat?" And Dusty, he was so great at like selling something. He went back and like almost looked like he was going to fall out of his chair. And then Teddy DiBiase just smiled and just shook his head looking down. But the concept of heat wasn't something that a lot of the guys understood or knew. But at the end of the day, and it took me some time to kind of understand the creative team, you are ultimately just a suggester to an audience of one, and then the family surrounding him, which kind of amplifies and cheerleads that kind of dynamic. So, it's like some people struggle with it, some people fight it, some people try to work around that. It's a real weird experience. Vince taught me a lot, but at the same time, you do realize it's like, is your obligation to the fan? Is your obligation to your boss and the chairman? And the answer is it's both. And you try to navigate those waters to the best of your ability. So you give the fans the best product. You try to check off the boxes that the boss wants you to check off. And even if you can successfully do that, then there's like an agent meeting. Then the head writer writes the script. And then you go to the production stuff. And then by the time it actually airs, it has mutated so much from whatever the original intent was. It's like, I don't know what to tell you.
And don't forget, the boys got to throw in their 2 cents too, because they got to be comfortable with it.
Of course. And then there's stuff you don't know about that you're told, like, yeah, we can't push that guy now. And we have no idea what has happened. We don't know if there's a contract issue. We don't know if there's just a guy has heat for some random reason. Or we're just told, like, he's on the do not disturb list. So, like, oh. But it's always then kicked back, well, creative has nothing for you. It's like, no, that's honestly, creative always has something for someone. It might not be the best idea. It might be a horrible idea, and you wish they didn't have something for you. But that was an excuse built out of talent relations to pass the heat, especially when you're firing someone. Instead of saying, hey, man, you're a pain in my ass, or, we can't do payroll with you on it right now at this moment, whatever the issue is. But, creative having nothing for you. Imagine they said that to Vince. What would Vince say? Okay, is the wrestler gone or you gone? Because it's your obligation to have creative. So you think Vince is just going to shrug that off and say, yeah, okay, that's understandable. Why would you have creative for that guy? I'm only paying you to do that. That never made sense to me.
You know what, Court? Thank you for that answer, because I think you actually answered a lot of questions by just that one answer. So we appreciate that honesty. Thank you so much. But let's get into MLW.